second chance. At AI, it was a cliffhanger. They got overconfident, got beside themselves. I have a word of caution. Don't get too big for your own britches. Don't think you're better than what you really are. Don't think you're smarter than who you really are. For God will sometimes have to humble you to make you see it's not you, but it's him. God had to humble the Israelites so they wouldn't get a big head. But I'm so glad God's a God of a second chance. Did anybody here go to some places you should not have gone? Done some things you should not have done? Said some things you should not have said? But God is a God of another chance. I didn't say a second chance because you messed up the second chance. But I said God is a God of another chance. Tap somebody and tell them, yes, he is. I messed up, but I'm still here. Yeah, yeah. They got deceived by the Gibeonites. Has anybody been lied on? Anybody been cheated? Anybody been hurt? Anybody had deception come your way? But God has given us a spirit of discernment, and he'll let you know when the devil is the devil, and he'll let you know when God is God. Somebody here today, you will not be deceived forever, for God will take the veils off of your eyes, and you'll be able to see clearly who's for you and who's against you, who's for God and who's against God. It may be a cliffhanger for a second, but God will show you the way. And then after that, enemy after enemy, battle after battle, fight after fight, God gave them the victory. It was a cliffhanger. The battle was not determined until the end, but God gave them the victory. So Joshua in the 24th chapter gives a history lesson of all that God has done. That's why the choir had to sing a song. They sang, for you old school Ebenezerites. This was something that allowed us to go back in time. You grew up on that song when Reverend Vales and the choirs used to sing it. It brought you back to a time in your life when you were going through some cliffhangers, whether or not bills could be paid, whether or not your body would be healed, whether or not friends would forsake you. But through it all, you learned to trust in Jesus. You learned to trust in God. Joshua gave the children of Israel a history lesson and said, God got Abraham out of the Euphrates. God got us through the Jordan River. God gave us battle after battle. So today we're facing a cliffhanger. Whether or not you're going to choose the gods of the Amorites, whether you're going to choose the gods of the Egyptians, whether you're going to choose the God of the Amorites, you have a choice today. The choice was not just back then, but today you have a choice. It's a cliffhanger as to who you're going to choose to be your God, who you're going to choose to be the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings. So Joshua had to make it plain and clear, as for me and my house, I'm going to serve the Lord. It ain't a cliffhanger. He's been too good. He's kept me too long. When I needed a victory, God sent hornets to give me the victory. God will send whatever you need to get you to where you need to go. Do I have a witness in the house? Can you look at somebody and say, as for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. The decision has already been made. He's been too good. He's kept me too long. Yeah, but that wasn't the only cliffhanger. About 2,000 years ago, around this time, there was another cliffhanger for the people at the end of Joshua. Didn't do what they said they were going to do. They disobeyed the covenant that they made with Joshua in the 24th chapter. They fell short of what it is they said they were going to do. Has anybody here ever fallen short? You didn't do what you said you were going to do, and you did do what you didn't want to do. So the question comes, when you mess up, how are you going to get through? When you mess up, a cliffhanger's in your life, but God sent his son through 42 generations so you wouldn't have to be in a cliffhanger dilemma. He preached, he healed, he delivered, but they still hated the Son of God. They hated him so much, they hung him wide and stretched him wide. It was a cliffhanger. On Saturday, it was a cliffhanger, but early Easter Sunday